Yo, what's good? It's A3Z. About to get into another video talking about Vegas falling off. Got another one, y'all.
Las Vegas is empty, and it's not by accident. For decades, the strip was built on magic cheap buffets, free parking, free drinks, and the feeling that anyone, no matter how much money they carried, could live like a king for a weekend. But behind closed doors, something changed. Wall Street walked in, the old rules were thrown out, and executives signed off on decisions that would forever alter the soul of the city. In this video, you'll hear the confession of a retired casino executive who was in the room when those choices were made. He admits it wasn't a mistake, it was by design. From the birth of resort fees to the death of the legendary 9.99 buffet, every move was calculated, every tradition sacrificed for revenue. And while Vegas still glitters on the surface, its heart has been hollowed out. Was this the inevitable future of America's playground? Or was it a betrayal of the very people who built it? Stay with us, because the truth about Las Vegas is darker than anyone wants to admit. Step back in time and picture the Las Vegas Strip decades ago, long before resort fees, parking charges, and overpriced cocktails became the norm. Back then, Vegas was a city designed to make you feel like royalty the moment you arrived. It didn't matter if you had a few $100s in your pocket or thousands. The very DNA of the strip was about transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. The lights were brighter, the smiles at the tables were warmer, and the casinos gave more than they took. At least that's how it felt. Guests could walk into a casino with just $200, and by the end of the night, they'd walk out feeling like Sinatra himself. That was no accident. Executives of the old guard understood something the new Wall Street managers never cared about. If you made people feel special, they would spend like they were special. The strategy was simple but brilliant. Offer a cheap.
Everybody back in the day was spending money in Vegas, regardless if the shit was the drinks and all that shit. Like, I don't even know anybody that used to go to Vegas for the free drinks. Like, what the fuck? Like, because it was such a deal. It was like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you was gonna spend more money, you were gonna gamble more, you were gonna be there from dusk till dawn. Now you're there and just in and out. Like I gotta get out of here. I mean, I get 20 $20 for a water? Man, what?
Dinner, pour free drinks all night, comp a room even if it meant losing a little money up front. It wasn't about nickel and diming the guest. It was about creating an atmosphere where the visitor felt like the most important person in the building. The classic Vegas buffet became legendary for that reason. For under $10, you could pile your plate high with prime rib crab legs and desserts that seemed endless.
$10. We're gonna review another video showing the prices back in '03. CGA, he said something in the post too. Shout out to Coach Greg. Man, he was saying that them days is over, bro. That's sad, bro. But man, that's honestly like American nostalgia, just the prices and just the experience for real. And it's just gone, man. Like sold out.
Everyone knew the casino was taking a small hit on food, but that loss was nothing compared to the money customers would drop at the tables in the slots or at the bar once they were satisfied, full, and happy. For families and budget travelers, this formula was irresistible. Vegas wasn't just for the rich or the reckless gambler. It was a playground where the middle class could escape reality for a weekend. You didn't need to be a high roller to be treated with respect. That sense of inclusion was what made the strip magical. The city was alive with movement crowds of tourists filling sidewalks, laughing in long buffet lines, clinking glasses in smoky lounges. Every dollar spent came back with interest because the energy of the crowd fueled itself. One group's excitement bled into another's, and soon the entire strip pulsed with a kind of electricity that no corporate spreadsheet could measure.
If y'all never experienced Vegas, man, I feel sorry for y'all. Like especially in your 20s, man. Like Being every time I was in Vegas, I always had fun, but it was always a memorable experience. Sorry, y'all, you gotta forgive me. I'm still kind of sick, but it was always a super memorable experience. If I was just randomly out there for family, see one of my friends online, bro, it was like a party, and that without even trying every time, like dressed up, club hopping, bar hopping, all that, man. It's fun. I mean, especially for the low. You was having fun. You could be in every hotel, like pools. Man, it was really a super vibe. Like,
People told stories about Vegas as if it were another world. A construction worker from Ohio, a nurse from Texas, or a young couple from California could all arrive on a Friday night, and by Saturday morning, they were living like stars. The secret was generosity. Casinos gave a little free parking, free shows, cheap food, and in return, guests gave a lot more. It was a cycle of value and trust, and for decades it worked flawlessly. This was the Vegas that built legends, the Vegas that created loyalty so deep that families returned year after year. Fathers brought sons, groups of friends turned weekend trips into lifelong traditions, and tourists from around the globe came to experience something they couldn't find anywhere else. The city wasn't just selling games of chance, it was selling a feeling that you mattered, that you belonged, that for one dazzling weekend, you were the center of the universe. But as the years went on, that model of generosity came under fire. To some, it looked outdated, even foolish. Why lose money on a steak dinner when you could charge triple the price? Why give away parking when you could turn it into a revenue stream?
that parking hit so hard. It was like, whoa, stay away from Vegas. The parking is $20. Like, whoa, like the park. That was the main thing. You get a car, go to rent a hotel, club hop back and forth. But you're gonna be spending $20 here, $20 there, 20 like walking. Please no, that shit is far. Like the Mirage thing is real. Like it may look like it's close. Boy, oh boy, you're gonna be sweating your pants
Those
off.
questions didn't come from the Vegas old guard. They came from the outsiders, the financiers, the consultants, the men with charts and projections who didn't care about atmosphere, only numbers. And slowly, the foundations of old Vegas began to crack. The cracks widened when Wall Street finally set its eyes on the desert. Hedge funds, private equity firms, and corporate boards began taking control of the casinos that once ran on instinct, tradition, and gut feeling. The old Vegas executives who believed in cheap buffets and free parking suddenly found themselves surrounded by men in suits carrying charts, spreadsheets, and projections. The language
They're like, hold on, you can get 40 for that steak, 30, 40 for that steak, right? Minimum. Now, if you could separate into tiers, tomahawk set you back maybe 180. Oh, the wagyu, we got that too. The wagyu, we got that too. That's gonna set you back to about 100 buck 50.
Vegas shifted from fun and experience to revenue per square foot, profit margins per customer, and quarterly growth. For the first time, the Strip was no
Setup.
longer just a city built on dreams, it was a business asset to be squeezed dry. It started with a simple pitch: resort fees. A consultant walked into a boardroom with a presentation that promised millions in additional revenue. The idea seemed absurd at first. Charge guests an extra $25 a night for services that used to be free. Many executives scoffed, predicting backlash, even a revolt. But the corporate side insisted on testing it. And when guests paid without much resistance, the floodgates opened.
And that is the thing. That simp economy really effed us up. Like you guys don't understand. The government is watching you spend your simp dollars. They're saying, hold on, these guys are spending $1,000 for a Balenciaga t-shirt, $600 for a Balenciaga t-shirt. Remember they used to be 350 Balenciaga t-shirts, then it went to like six. Now they're like 1,000 now. T-shirts. T-shirts. It used to be hoodies, used to be like no. Honestly, like maybe what like six they used to be, like maybe at around like oh I mean, sorry, 2021. That COVID shit kind of screwed up. Yeah.
Property adopted it, then another, and within a short time, every casino on the strip was charging resort fees. What was once unthinkable became the new normal. The same logic soon spread to parking. Free parking had been sacred in Las Vegas for decades, a tradition as old as the neon lights themselves. Old timers warned it would be suicide to take that away, that the city was built on convenience, generosity, and openness. But Wall Street logic was cold. A PowerPoint slide projected tens of millions in added annual revenue if drivers were charged. The test began, and once again, guests grumbled but paid. By the next year, the entire strip had followed. The numbers looked good, but the soul of Vegas dimmed just a little more. Food and drinks were next. The iconic $9.99 buffet, once the pride of Vegas, became a target. Corporate reasoning was clear: why lose money on food when you can turn it into a profit center? Prices doubled, then tripled. Drinks that once came free with your gambling session now cost $20, then $30. Every item that had once been a gesture of generosity was repackaged as a line on a balance sheet. The old Vegas model of give a little to get a lot was replaced by take as much as you can and keep taking. For the executives caught in the middle, the transformation was painful. Some resisted, but resistance came with a price. Those who stood in the way of the new corporate model were quickly replaced. Adapt or get out, that was the ultimatum. And many, including the retired casino executive interviewed in this story, admit that they signed off on changes they knew would kill the magic. In their words, if I didn't play along, I'd have been replaced by someone who would. What made the shift especially insidious was how the public responded. Every time a new fee or price hike was introduced, there was anger complaints, even headlines about the death of Vegas. But then guests came anyway. They grumbled while pulling out their credit cards, but they still paid. That behavior sent a dangerous signal back to the boardrooms: the limits could always be pushed further. If the public kept showing up, there was no incentive to stop. The strip began
But the
to
thing
change
is,
visibly.
the prices, like, how they gonna go down like that? You could cut the prices, right? Or could you not because the budget is so. Especially if you. It looks like they're downsizing, like they're getting rid of fountains and shit. Like I heard they're getting rid of the Bellagio fountain. They're about to put like make it another strip mall. Like, bro, we don't need another mall. Like, what are you doing? Like, gosh, bro, man, everything nostalgic about this country is like no more. That fountain is a prime example, bro. Like, bro, just pour some cement over it and then put a store on top. Jeez,
What
man.
was once a playground for the middle class became a maze of charges, restrictions, and high priced options. Guests no longer felt like royalty. They felt like marks in a game where the house always won, not just on the tables, but in every corner of their stay. A weekend in Vegas turned into a series of transactions, each one designed to bleed a little more from your wallet. The magic wasn't gone all at once, but piece by piece, decision by decision, it was dismantled. By the time the transformation was complete, the strip had crossed a line it could never return from. Vegas was no longer a city built on giving to the guest. It was a city built on taking, and the old guard knew it. They warned it was unsustainable, that the lifeblood of Vegas, the everyday people, the families, the groups of friends pooling their money for a weekend of fun, would eventually disappear. But Wall Street didn't care. The charts showed growth, the profits rolled in, and as long as the numbers stayed green, the culture shift was considered a success. Behind the neon glow, Vegas had entered a new era, one where loyalty, atmosphere, and magic meant nothing compared to quarterly targets. And as the retired executive confessed, that was the moment he realized the strip he once loved was never coming back. The strip once thrived on volume. In the old days, success was measured by heads in beds and the endless buzz of casino floors packed shoulder to shoulder. It didn't matter if half the players were only pulling the nickel slots or lingering at the cheap buffets, the sheer number of people created energy, noise, and momentum. That energy was contagious, and it made everyone spend more. But as Wall Street reshaped the strip, that formula was flipped upside down. Instead of filling every room and every table, the strategy became about fewer guests, but rich.
And I want to say this too. Vegas food is so good. Like, oh my gosh, it is like the most underrated place. Food, but it's pretty good. I mean, all the casinos and stuff right there. I mean, it's pretty good. Just wanted to add that in.
On hidden fees. With fewer guests, operations costs dropped while profits stayed the same or even rose. To investors and board members, it was a dream come true. But for the strip itself, it was a slow death. The atmosphere of Vegas was never just about profit margins, it was about the crowd. Tourists from the Midwest, bachelor parties from California, families
Yeah.
from Texas, retirees from Florida.
I went to a bachelor party over the for the summer, and it was 50-50. Like, the strip clubs was dead. Like, we was literally the only people in there, and one of the dancers had to wand us down because no security was in there. So it was literally only girls in there. I didn't feel safe, to be honest. I did not feel safe.
International visitors, all packed together, created a kind of living heartbeat. When sidewalks were crowded, when casino floors roared with cheers and laughter, the strip felt alive. That was what kept people coming back, not just the chance of winning big, but the electricity of being surrounded by thousands of others chasing the same thrill. When the shift to fewer guests took hold, that heartbeat grew faint. Walking down the strip on a weekday, you could feel the emptiness. The lights still shone, but without the masses, they felt hollow. High rollers became the prized target. Instead of courting the middle class traveler with cheap buffets and comped rooms, the casinos focused on attracting international whales willing to drop tens of thousands in a single weekend. Exclusive clubs, luxury suites, and private gaming rooms replaced the affordable perks of the past. Conventions and corporate travelers filled in the gaps, bringing steady streams of expense accounts and guaranteed spending. On paper, it worked. Revenue was high even when foot traffic was low. But the strip no longer belonged to everyone, it belonged to the few. The problem, as the retired executive admitted, is that high rollers are fickle. They can be lured to Macau, Singapore, or Monte Carlo at a moment's notice if the deal looks better, if the perks are flashier, or if another destination feels fresher. Meanwhile, the middle class, the true backbone of Vegas for decades, was already walking away. Once priced out, many never returned. They realized they could spend a fraction of the money elsewhere for a better overall experience. And with every family lost, with every group of friends who decided to vacation in Mexico instead of Nevada, Vegas, lost not just customers, but the soul that made it unique. Inside the casinos,
Well, you get the gist of it. Vegas is cooked, right? Is Vegas cooked? You guys let me know in the comment section. Like, please subscribe. Um, like I said, yeah, I went to Vegas. Oh, I went to Tao too. It was girls, but they were all. They had the whole. It was like 100 girls in there in the private section. It was just a whole bunch of girls, pretty girls. I would say definitely the dating market is better than Cali, but at the same time, they could just be people just be passing through. So yeah, you just could be passing through. So you do what you do with that. All right.